Hello, everyone. It's Sal Chatterbox. How you all doing? And welcome to another episode of Chatterbox. I'm back, guys. Good to have you back, guys. Thank you so much for joining me this evening, of course, guys, or afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining me anyway. Guys, before I start, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and smash the like on the video. If you guys can do that for me, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Now, look, you know what? It's never a quiet day when it comes to Manchester United, is it? And you know what? A lot of rumblings going on around the club, in particular about the pundits on Sky Sports and other media outlets. I mean, in particular, the ex-Man United kind of media pundit, of course. And Gary Neville's been speaking again. And Gary Neville has a very outspoken opinion on various Manchester United managers, which it doesn't include Ole Gunnar Solskjaer because that's his mate, but other managers at Manchester United. And he doesn't make the job for Ruben Amorim any easier. So instead of talking about the real issues around Manchester United in regards to, the injury list or, he's coming to an absolute mess at Manchester United, not being backed in January. He just wants to attack the manager's tactics. Now, the manager's tactics that have been highly successful in his career so far, people are going to throw at me. You know what I mean? It is only Portugal and stuff like that. But I'm going to get into that really soon to contradict that. But guys, thank you so much for joining me. Let's read some of your comments, guys. 30 left in the PLE system depends on the good sender number 10, and obviously a sentiment it has problems. It has problems, but that's why it needed to be backed. Big up, Danny B. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Bring a bit of good news this morning. Diego Leon scored in the last night. Thank you so much, Danny B. Diego Leon scored a tap-in, didn't he? Danny B for Paraguay. We're going to celebrate that. Yeah, absolutely. For the under-20 Paraguay team, of course. Big up Diego Leon. Let's not forget that Diego Leon will be playing for Manchester United next season. So it will be between Dorgo, in my opinion, and Diego Leon fighting for that left wing-back berth. We got a good little bit of business there. In regards to Luke Shaw, what does that do for Luke Shaw? I hear you ask. What are we going to do with Luke Shaw? Because at the end of the day, Luke Shaw looks like he's not going to be playing for Man United anytime soon. He's been out for long enough, hasn't he? At the end of the day, guys. At the end of the day, of course. Let's read some of your comments. Big up, Grayo. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Sorry, good afternoon, guys. Hope you're well. Feeling from yesterday's game and Amorim not making any changes. Please hit the like button. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, look, you know what? I look in hindsight, and nothing is absolute in life. And I criticize mistakes when they occur. I do criticize mistakes when they occur. If my hair is occurring at the moment, but you know what? It is what it is, guys. I haven't got no hairspray. I need some hairspray next to me, guys. You guys, I need a hairdresser right here, right now, guys. That's what I need on Chatterbox. Just one standing by. Yeah, do you know what? And some grapes hanging from there. Yeah, you know what I would say in regards to and many people are saying that he should have made the changes and blah blah blah. And yeah, he should have. He should have taken a risk. And as I was speaking the other day, I was speaking actually to Grayo the other day about winners take risks. Life is about taking risks, and sometimes you just have to throw the kids on, see what can happen. You never know what can happen, of course. I mean, at the end of the day, it wasn't going to work. We were never going to score a goal in a million Sundays. We weren't, and he should have done that. But at the same time, I'm looking at it and I'm saying, do you know what? Maybe he's making a statement to Ineos. Maybe this is a statement that he wants to make to Ineos that you haven't backed me. This is all I've got left. And he's got a good point, because you look at that and you've got a bunch of 16 and 17-year-olds. The average age from the bench was 19. And when you look at that, you look at that, I mean, we could throw the youngsters on the bench. Was he protecting the youngsters? Did he want to play the youngsters? Some people are saying, we shouldn't put him on the bench anyway. He had no choice but to put those youngsters on the bench. He had absolutely no choice, because you have to fill up the quota of the squad, of course, guys. So, yeah, it is a multi-layered situation. It is, of course, and I'm not going to dig too deep in the wound in regards to Ruben Amorim. We lost the game. We should have drew the game. We should have won the game. The chances that we had were ridiculous, and we've got to learn to put the ball in the back of the net. That's what we got to do at the end of the day. And if we did, we would not have lost. We would not have lost the game, of course, guys. Absolutely not. Let me just do this. There you go. That's better, isn't it? Much more smarter. Absolutely. Big up, Jim. What's going on, Nate Navasa? How you doing? Greeting to you. Bless you, your family. Bless you and your family too, Jim. Hope you're doing well. Really good to see you. Really good to see you, my friend. Absolutely. Pay him and tell him, sure, piss off. Yeah, and I mean, this is what will happen, Danny B. If we had Qatar in charge, all these mercenaries that have been at Man United feigning injury, they would have been at the football club. They would have been gone. Sayonara. Goodbye. At the end of the day, because we have to pay off their contracts, it's going to cost a lot of money. Now, it's going to be a little bit more harder to get rid of certain players now. Luke Shaw won. Luke Shaw's due a testimonial, guys. You do know Luke Shaw's due a testimonial. It's mad, isn't it? When you think about Luke Shaw having a testimonial and you think about the players that have played for Man United who've never had a testimonial. Can you imagine? But he is. Goals for George. Lunch break, guys. I'm not superstitious, but I feel there may be some karma. Karma woke up after watching how Eric Ten Hag with the pews hung out to dry, laughed at by YouTube, and decided to make Amorim look worse. You know me and my stance, goals for George on Eric Ten Hag. People know I stuck by Eric Ten Hag to the bitter end. To it got detrimental to my own reputation, and I did. And to be honest with you, I feel sorry for every manager that comes in and walks into this football job and has to try and work under the conditions that they're currently working under the black cloud that is the Glazers. And I don't envy any of those managers coming there. This is the graveyard for players and the manager. This is a place you ruin your career. It used to be a place where you used to make careers, Now it's a place you ruin your career. And obviously this has become a problem. And that, it does not help when you've got media pundits. And let's not forget, Gary Neville criticised Eric Ten Hag. It was Gary Neville who dug the knife in with Eric Ten Hag. And he's doing it now with Ruben Amorim. He's doing exactly the thing. The only manager he hasn't dug the knife in with is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer because he was his mate. Now, is there a conflict of interest going on here? Does Gary Neville have beneficiaries in Ineos that, he needs them for his projects, for, a bit of business, if you know what I mean. And, there's many stories going around about Gary Neville that he's got certain business connections that he needs to keep sweet, and that involves Ineos and the redevelopment of Old Trafford, and obviously the land that Man United, have, that might be going to the government, of course. Gary Neville has so much to say. I wonder if he was easy for him at Valencia. Absolutely. Look, you know what? The funny thing, Jay, big up Jay, by the way. The funny thing is exactly, after he was managing Valencia, he was telling everyone how difficult management is, how it's not easy, how he doesn't sympathize with the manager, how he sympathizes with the managers, etc. Now, look, it's just a complete contradiction because it's not in his best interest. It's not in his business interest to take a swipe at Ineos or the Glazers, even if it is God sent that he should do that, and I love Gary Neville as a player. I think he's fantastic. I'm never going to say anything wrong about his playing style, about how he was as a player, but as a pundit, as an ex-pro, he's not covering himself in any glory. He's not really covering himself in any glory. And right now there are various commercial outlets, including the Daily Telegraph, who are calling him out, and fair play to these companies, of course, guys. And I'm going to get into that right now, guys. Absolutely, I'm going to get into some of the media outlets that have been calling out Gary Neville, of course. The Daily Telegraph, as I just said, it's time for Sky to stop letting Gary Neville cover Manchester United. Pundit happy to put boot into coach and players at his old club, but what about the penny pinching, floundering Old Trafford top brass? Basically, what about the Old Trafford, the Glazers and Ineos? Bigger Alan Tyres for this. Fair play, the Daily Telegraph. Bigger Alan Tyres, absolutely. Finally, these outlets, these media outlets are starting to call out this nonsense that's been going on for so long, covering for the Glazers, covering for Ineos. It's starting to become obvious. It's about time Gary Neville stepped aside and stop putting the boot in regards to Ruben Amorim. And we're talking about Ruben Amorim's tactics. And he's talking about how Ruben Amorim, it was set up like a bunch of 9-year-olds. How disrespectful is that? Let me show you this. Is this disrespectful? This is the Champions League, Gary Neville, before Ruben Amorim left Sporting Lisbon. This is the Champions League. This was the Champions League group. What about this, Gary? Is this a bunch of 9-year-olds? Is it? They would have won the group there. They would have won the group. At the end of the day, they would have won the league if he was still there after 10. Look at this, guys. Look at this. I repeat, look at this. This is the Champions League group. So people are going to throw at me, oh, what about he only done it in Portugal and stuff like that? This is the Champions League group. And if he stayed at Sporting Lisbon, Liverpool would not have won this league. Sporting Lisbon would have won this league. And that is what would have happened. So, you know what? These pundits and Gary Neville, you need to sit down, mate. Because all you're doing at the moment is ruining your reputation. That's all you're doing, in my humblest of opinions, of course, guys. There we go. Let's read some more of your comments. I think I read that one. Jim, so what I can't understand is how the fans call Eric Ten Hag like they did back then and now do the same with Amorim when you know, well, that Amorim's hands are tied. Mate, you know what? It's just such a... What they're trying to do, they're trying to prove to themselves and to other people that, you know what, they're fair. They're fair. You know what, I call it objectively and I'm fair. You know, that's what they do because at the end of the day, what the most important thing about all this is that they don't understand the rewarding patience, how it is important to be patient. You can scream and shout at a plant all you like. There's a seed in the soil and you're screaming and shouting at that seed, and that seed will not grow just because you scream and shout at it. And you know what? Get another pot for it. No matter what pot you put in with that seed is not going to grow quicker. The only way that seed is going to grow and blossom is with water and sunlight. It's going to take time. Unfortunately, we don't understand that. This is the same with Manchester United. We don't understand that the mess that we're in, the adversity that we're going through, especially Ruben Amorim going through. And you know what? And after a few months, we've thrown him under the bus without a sufficient transfer window. We got one player in, 3 players out. And he had a bunch of youth players on the bench. What are people expecting, guys? What are they expecting at the end of the day? What are they expecting? You know, and then we get the stupid comparisons with David Moyes. But David Moyes coming to Everton, and look what he's done. Temporarily, we're trying to build something long-term. We're trying to build something for which could help us in the future be successful and challenge for leagues. Everton's ambition is not to challenge for the league. It's just to survive. You know, we're trying to build something, a legacy that is going to survive. It's going to be suffice for the next few years, hopefully decades. Danny B, hit the like button. Thank you so much. Big button lurkers. Absolutely. Thank you, Danny B. Big up yourself. Big legend, of course. Absolutely. Neville is a sellout. Danny B, he's coming across that as a pundit. He's definitely a sellout, in my opinion. You're absolutely right. As a pundit, he's really letting everyone down. Especially me as a fan of Gary Neville. I backed Gary Neville as a player. People used to tell me, oh, he's overrated. You know, at the end of the day, look, deep down, I know that Warren Barton, Ian Hart, and Danny Mills could have played for Man United during the Alex Ferguson period, and we would have won the same amount of trophies. At the end of the day, Gary Neville was fortunate he was in such a blessed period. But you know what? We're giving the benefit of the doubt. We're giving the benefit of the doubt, and we say that, you know what? He was a world-class player. He was the captain of Man United, and we were the best team in England. And you know what? That means he's a great player. But you know what? And he played in Euro 96. He was young then. He was the only player from the class of 92 who played in Euro 96, of course, for Man United. And, you know, I've complimented him all the way up from his debut all the way to this day. But you know what? As a pundit, you know what? He's not there. He's a lot to be desired, of course. He is banter. Big up. Neville does chit chat. Is not an analysis of the game at all. The thing is, I don't mind opinion. I don't mind criticism. I don't mind people talking about the football club in whatever way you want to talk about the football club. But you have to have a balance. And when you're not calling out the ownership, you're not calling that Ineos, you're not calling that the Glazers, but other entities are, other companies are, other media outlets are, including the Daily Telegraph, as I just said. It just makes him look a little bit silly, doesn't it? Because at the end of the day, people are starting to realize that, hold on a second, is this a conflict of interest? Is something going on here in regards to Gary Neville? What's going on here? Do you know what I mean? And anyone who can back this and stuff like that, you know what? I'm calling it as it is as a Man United fan, that Gary Neville needs to shape up. You know, better shape up. Yeah, absolutely. Not going to sing that, but definitely, yeah. Gary Neville does need to shape up, definitely. Afro Soup, I would like to see deadly combination of Xerxes and Cheeto. Hopefully we will see that very soon, Afro Soup. Big up Afro Soup. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Big up the legend, Afro Soup. Hope everything is good with you. You know what, Xerxes made me proud yesterday. I'll be honest with you. He made me proud yesterday. He had a very good performance. The only problem is that we don't have any link up. So every time Xerxes would do some amazing skill, we go through a couple of players, there's no link up there. Do you know what I mean? If people remember Andy Cole and Dwight York, they'll do that same little bit of skill, or Cantona and Hughes, and you know, they'll do that little bit of skill and then they'll pass it and then they'll make a run and then they get the ball back. And you know what? There's no link up there. We need a partnership up front. We got no chemistry. That is what it is. And Man United have been missing that for a long time. Man United have been missing chemistry. And back in the day, we had chemistry and goals used to come like naturally. We knew what to do. We knew how to get the ball in the box. You know, nowadays we've got players who are not looking up, who are not passing on the overlapping runs. I felt sorry for Dorgu yesterday. Dorgu had a great performance, to be honest with you, but no one was picking him out. No one was picking him out. No one was looking for the overlapping run. And what's he meant to do? And over the years, when you watch Man United, especially during our successful times, our whole game's been based around overlapping runs. I mean, you look at Gary Neville, Patrice Evra, of course, Paul Parker back in the day as well. We always had overlapping runs at our football team. You know, nowadays we don't. And we're not getting enough crosses in the box. And as I said, partly Rasmus's problem is that, you know what, we're not getting enough crosses into him. Rasmus' weakness is he can't hold up the ball, and that is a problem. He can't bring players into the game. You need to have a little bit of skill, but there's no chemistry. And when there's no chemistry, it's even harder to try and hold up the ball and bring people into play, because it's kind of like we're winging it at the moment. We're not really doing it naturally, like a Dwight York and Andy Cole, Teddy Sheringham, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer type of thing, Cantona, Mark Hughes type of thing. We're not really like doing it in an organic way, if you know what I mean. And it's all forced. And we just can't seem to get the ball in the back of the net. And, you know, any other team yesterday, Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, probably would have won that game yesterday quite convincingly, because I don't think that Tottenham were brilliant. And it's a shame that we lost to Tottenham yesterday. And another mistake from Onana. Another terrible mistake from Onana was not, I mean, unacceptable. How many times has he punched the ball out to the opposition player? What is wrong with him? You know, you need to get it away from the goal, mate. I can show you 1,000 clips of Peter Schmeichel doing the same thing, but getting the ball away from the goal. There's a difference between a good goalkeeper and a world-class goalkeeper, of course. Absolutely. Big up, Michael. What's going on? Long time no see. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Really good to see you, of course. Big up yourself. Hi, Sal. What does Ineos sponsor Spurs? They probably paid for Tel for Spurs. Can you see it on the MTC? Yeah, I saw it yesterday, Vernon. What do I make of that? Conflict of interest, isn't it, Vernon? Again, that's the key quote today, is the conflict of interest, of course. Ineos being on the Manchester United bench, of course, or Tottenham Hotspur seats, of course, and definitely wrong, isn't it? It's wrong. It shouldn't be happening. You know what I mean? Because there's a conflict of interest. You know what I mean? Do Ineos have interest in Spurs? And you know what? That question you asked there, Vernon. Yeah, that question you asked there. Naturally, these questions are going to be asked, because you know what? Why is their name all over Tottenham Hotspur? It doesn't make sense, does it? They're just frauds, mate. They're absolute frauds. And when I think about Jim and I think about Ineos, I just think fraud. And you know, I can't help think that. I'm starting to think about them in the same light as the Glazers, you know. At the end of the day, they facilitated the Glazers, but I gave them the benefit of the doubt. When they went to Man United, I gave them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they're going to buy the club fully. Maybe they are. They're going to buy the club in 2026, they said. Yeah, right. As they're going to buy the club in 2026. Then people say, no, but they invested 300 million of their own money. No, that was part of the deal with the Glazers. The Glazers would only accept if they put money into the infrastructure, because the Glazers were supposed to put money into the infrastructure, and they didn't put money into the infrastructure, of course. So there you go. At the end of the day, they're frauds, and they're penny pinchers, and they're just waiting for that big paycheck when they build the stadium and when they get that money for the land, of course. Absolutely. Big up, Michael. Big up yourself. Big up, my friend. Absolute good to see you, mate. From the past 1 decade, we always blame our managers. Now it's high time to blame our management and players. I mean, at the end of the day, it's high time we blamed upstairs. Nothing is going to change until we got the dark cloud hovering over us gone, which is the Glazers and Ineos. That is the problem at Man United. And energy, toxic energy, resonates from the top to the bottom. People may downplay that, but there is a tense atmosphere at Man United. That is not a nice atmosphere. When you're sacking various people, right? When you're sacking that staff, that side, there's some of these players new. You know what I mean? And you know, they're sacking that person. It creates a toxic environment around the football club, and that resonates on the pitch. Of course, it does. Feeling good there's no substitute for feeling good at the club, and you know, good atmosphere. You know, it's very important. But there's not a good atmosphere at Man United. Those players know what's going on at Man United. Some of those players know that people are being sacked, you know, and I mean, even some of the hard-done players, you know, are thinking to themselves, you know what, what's going on at this football club? What is going on? I don't understand. Do you know what I mean? And who are Ineos? I mean, I would love to be a fly on the wall. I would love to know what these players truly think of this ownership. I really do. I mean, if they were being honest, I would love to know. Neville and Judas tactics. Neville and his Judas. Neville is no one to talk about tactics. He's no one to talk about tactics. He knows nothing about tactics. I mean, it proved that at left Valencia, didn't it? 257, only 43 likes. Please hit the like button, subscribe, and thank you so much. 8,000 subscribe. Thank you so much, Gray. You absolute legend, of course. Absolutely. But to be fair, Gary Neville, he was one of the few ex-players that used to name the platform to call out the Glazers and Super League. He's changed, mate. He's changed. He's changed. Suddenly, it's all gone. You know why it's all gone? Because he has an interest in Ineos. He has an interest in Ineos. And now, what happens when you criticize the manager? What happens? You divert the attention away from the Glazers and Ineos. So you divert that attention and put all the toxicity onto Ruben Amorim. It's Ruben Amorim's fault. It's not our fault we didn't back him in January. It's not our fault we brought in a skilled manager with a unique tactical nous, you know, and not back him in January. It's not our fault, even though we wanted to come in the summer. It's not our fault. It's Ruben Amorim's fault. That's what they're doing. What can we say? Anthony is scoring for fun, tearing it up. Yeah, Randy, but he's tearing it up in a league that, you know what, suits him, isn't it? Anthony was not good enough for Man United. He didn't do well at Man United. He had 2 years to impress at Man United. Didn't do the business. La Liga is Barcelona and Real Madrid. That's it. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's a league that fits him, you know, and that's it. It didn't work at Man United. There's far more stress, far more pressure at Man United than there is at Real de Betis, you know what I mean, who've won nothing in the last 40 years or whatever it is. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day. So at the end of the day, good luck to Anthony in his smaller club. But Man United was too much of a big club for him and he couldn't handle the shirt. That's why he didn't perform for Man United. And Ruben Amorim didn't rate him. These ex-players, whether it's Gary Neville, Roy Keane, who I love as an ex-player and a legend, Eric Cantona, David Beckham, I'd like to see them go into the United dressing room and give pep talk to the players. I would like Roy Keane. I would like David Beckham. David Beckham obviously supported the Qatar bid. You know, so did, you know, and Roy Keane, I like Roy Keane because Roy Keane is very outspoken and he would tell you the truth. He doesn't sugarcoat anything. That's the great thing about Roy Keane, guys. Absolutely. Let's forget Neville and all he does is talk and like a politician. When Valencia was given to him, he coached. What was his result? Empty barriers. It makes the most noise. Amorim all the way. Big up, Michael. Love it, Michael. Big up yourself. Thank you so much. I have to call it out, to be honest with you, because you know what? Ruben Amorim has got his ear to the ground. And I knew this because I remember Ruben Amorim was doing an interview prior to a game at Old Trafford. And remember Edge? No, it was at Ipswich. You remember Ipswich game? Do you remember the Ipswich game? And Ed Sheeran ran on the pitch. The singer Ed Sheeran. Do you remember Ed Sheeran ran onto the pitch and interrupted Ruben Amorim's post-match interview? What it was. So the pundits apologized for Ed Sheeran, you know what, interfering. And Ruben Amorim basically said, I'm here for Roy Keane. Anyway, alongside, I'm concentrating only on Roy Keane. He knows who the Man United legends are. So when people like Gary Neville come in and, start talking their trash, it's only going to put extra pressure on Ruben Amorim. You know what I mean? Big up, Jim. Big up, my friend. Big up, big up. I'm also avoiding Neville podcast. He has the same things to say every single. He's boring, mate. It's boring. Garnacho is an impact sub. I mean, but we haven't got any players. This is the problem, isn't it, GK? We haven't got anyone at the end of the day. We must boycott. I agree. Absolutely. We must boycott. Sal, honestly, not comfortable, irritated with the PR machine and charm offensive that followed Amorim's appointment. Overnight, they decided to raise Eric Ten Hag, blamed him. This is what they do, Goals for George. They lack class. Goals for George, they lack class. That's what they do. And they do that with Ruben Amorim as well. So our duty is to say this. Whatever you think about the manager, whether he does it right or does it wrong, he may fail. We know he might fail because at the moment, the tools he's been given, you know what I mean? He's asking to go into a sword fight with a breadstick at the moment. So what we need to do is peep the game and understand that these owners are doing this to every single manager and they will do it to Ruben Amorim. They did it to Eric Ten Hag and they're going to blame Ruben Amorim as well. It's Glazeronomics and Ineos are part of this, in my opinion. And they're no different to the Glazers. In fact, they're worse because Jim Ratcliffe pretended he was a Man United fan. The Glazers never pretended they were Man United fans. But Jim Ratcliffe did. He pretended he was a Man United fan, mate born and bred, with a Chelsea season ticket. Mad. Jim, Sal, back in those days, every player knew what the other player was going to do. We were united, proper, and there was a unity. Absolutely, brother. Absolutely, Jim. There was a chemistry, wasn't there? There was a chemistry. It was like a routine, a machine that kept going round and round and round and round. What's happened since Alex Ferguson has come? We completely removed the machine, and we got a little guy. Like we had an electric machine going round and round, like a conveyor belt going round and round and round. A machine. When Alex Ferguson left, he took the machine with him, and we got a guy spinning it with his hand like a lottery wheel or a hamster on a wheel at the end of the day. And that's what it is. And we are a hamster on a wheel football club, because that is what the Glazers want. You know what I mean? Hamster on the wheel. Eat the bullshit. That's what they want. That they want a hamster on the wheel. We need to jump off that wheel. You know what I mean? And start understanding what is going on with this football club. You know what I mean? And this ownership. And there is a protest on the 9th of March, guys, the Arsenal game, of course. So that is obviously incredibly important, of course, because you know what? Let's hope that it's a good one. Jim, I saw that too, Sal, that the Ineos name over the seats. That's a shocker. Ineos and Glazers, fraud and greed. Anything for money in Ineos. Don't you think they would have thought about this, isn't it, Jim? Don't you think they would have thought about this? This is wrong. And then how's that Man United going to see that? How are they going to feel about that? They're going to get pretty annoyed, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Madness at the end of the day. Greed, absolutely, bruv. Absolutely. Sal, what did Ed Sheeran interrupt? The first game of Ruben Amorim's tenure was against Ipswich Town in Ipswich, Portman Road. And basically, after the game, Ruben Amorim went on the pitch to have an interview with Sky Sports. And they had the mics there. There was Roy Keane there, and I'm not sure who else was there, but there was Roy Keane and the presenter. And whilst Ruben Amorim was talking, Ed Sheeran jumped in out of nowhere and put his arm around. I think it was one of the players. I'm not sure who it was, who the person was, but he put his arm around them and interrupted Ruben Amorim's interview after the game. So what Ruben Amorim said, they said, we apologize. And Ed Sheeran apologized online afterwards. He shouldn't have done it anyway. He goes, I didn't know they were having an interview. Bloody hell, people got a microphone in their hand. What they doing? Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, and he apologized. But Ruben Amorim says, I don't pay no mind to that. I was only concentrating on Roy Keane. So that goes to show you that he knows who the Man United legends are. He knows that Man United have legends, and you know what? He knows his football. Definitely. Randy, I would have sold Dalot and kept Malacia. At the end of the day, Dalot's been awful. Bruno has been awful, and people still defend them up until until we're blue in the face. I mean, at the end of the day, you know what? You can tell a person who doesn't have agendas, right? Because with my criticism, when I talk about various people, right? I don't just talk about one thing. When people have agendas, they tend to come on this stream and they tend to talk about one thing, whether it is Ruben Amorim, whether it is, their favorite player is Dalot or their favorite player is Anthony. They bang that drum over and over again. Me, it's all about Manchester United, and I call things objectively, and I don't have a favorite player, a favorite manager. I have a favorite football club, and that is Manchester United at the end of the day. And we got to get around this player FC. There's too much of that around, of course, guys, at the end of the day. And look, guys, and everyone will vouch for me, guys. I was a big supporter of Eric Ten Hag. I was not Eric Ten Hag FC. I just knew the problems at the football club, and I knew that a new manager coming in wouldn't be a quick fix. There was too many problems at this football club, to even comprehend. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day. And, sacking Eric Ten Hag maybe was the right choice at the time. But I told people that it was not the right thing to do, because no matter what manager we're going to get into the football club, it's not going to work. It's always going to be the players are still there from various managers. Some of the players are there since the Louis van Gaal days, 10 years ago. And it's ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I would say. Absolutely. Michael, I pray we win 3 matches in a row and start preparing for next season. Ineos and Glazers out. Should have it now. Absolutely, guys. Absolutely, Michael. One thing I would say, and fingers crossed, Michael, we don't sack the manager. We don't fall for that trick again. We don't, because we will be here next season doing the same old thing. You know what I mean? The same old. You know what I mean? We'll be doing the same old, oh, you know what, this manager, this manager, and that. You know what? We're begging for Gareth Southgate, ain't we? At the end of the day, do you know what I mean? Absolutely. Sidcraft, what's going on? Dalot is my favorite player, but the right time to sell in the summer. I agree, Sidcraft. I do agree with that, my friend. I do agree with that. Goals for George. I could see Amorim shouting to Bruno to shift it to the right and press, and Bruno obliged because he had instructions, and now he gets abused from fans. Casemiro can look all right in a three-man midfield. Bruno left a lot of space, and he left his man a number of times. I'm hearing from other Man United personnel that he's not going to call out Bruno in the media, but he's very upset with Bruno. He was very upset with Bruno. That's what I'm hearing from very reliable people who work at the club, that Bruno is in line to be sold in the summer. I don't think Bruno's been good. He was very poor yesterday, and that was pretty evident. I've never seen a captain as poor as him in Man United's history. In my time watching Man United, there's never been a bad captain as Bruno. And why is that? It's because he's the captain of the ship. The captain of the ship is meant to steer us to safety, not make us sink. He's running the Titanic right here. I think they need to check who sailed the Titanic. Probably as Bruno. He was the captain. I mean, he likes sinking ships. Absolutely, guys. Absolutely. But that's what it is, guys. Wanted to get that on my chest in regards to everything that's been happening at the football club right now. You know what? We're going to get a lot more of this. We're going to get a lot more of these pundits who are going to be talking trash about our manager. And it's up to us to stay strong, guys. It's up to us to stay strong. Paul Scholes is one of the reasons why we are shit too. Paul Scholes, why is Paul Scholes a reason why we're shit? Paul Scholes' opinion isn't great sometimes. I did agree with him about a couple of things, but he does come across as another one of the nonsense speakers in the media. I don't think he's a reason we're shit. He was one of the greatest midfielders of all time as a pundit. I agree with that. Yeah. As a pundit, he's a shit pundit. He's not the reason we're shit. I mean, at the end of the day, he's a crap pundit. I agree with that one. Yeah. I would give an arm to have Paul Scholes in the midfield right now. Absolutely. You know, it'll teach Bruno a thing or two, definitely. Paul Scholes, for me, the greatest midfielder of a generation. Iniesta and Xavi modeled their game on Paul Scholes. And they said that themselves. Yo, what's going on, Kerwin Nixon? How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're good, my friend. Good to see you back. Hello, do you remember Captain Harry Maguire wasn't exactly good also? You know what, Kerwin? It goes without saying. But I don't see anyone coming on these streams as the Harry Maguire fan club. I don't. Harry Maguire was solid yesterday, by the way. Didn't put a foot wrong. And to be honest, he hasn't been to blame for anything really recently. You know, I would say that. You know, and I would praise Harry Maguire. But there are people here who are Bruno FC, Dalot FC, Anthony FC, and those type of people that, you know what, I don't see a Harry Maguire FC. And when I do see a Harry Maguire FC, I will start telling them about that. And there should be no FC, anything. It should be Manchester United FC. That's what it should be at the end of the day. Spot on Sal. Someone called out Bruno. He is one of my many that needs to go. Bravo, my friend. Respect. Absolutely. Thank you so much, man. Jim. Mate, guys, let me tell you a story, right? And I've told you this story many, many times. I know Bruno's family. I worked with his brother for 3 years. Why am I going to, show bias? You know what I mean? I should be showing bias towards Bruno, right? I should be showing, favoritism towards him because I know his family. But at the end of the day, he's not performing for Man United. So, you know what? I don't care. You're not performing. So, you know what? FC Braga or Boa Vista, whoever it was, go over there. You know, that club, because you're not performing, mate. He hasn't performed for months. Let's be real, guys. Let's be real. He only performed under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's system. That was a counter-attacking system. Let's be real, guys. At the end of the day, we have to call these out how it is at the end of the day. Amorim is the Man United and we must stand by him. Absolutely, Michael. Love your comments, Michael, by the way. Thank you for joining the stream. It's a pleasure to have you here, man. Big up. I think Paul Scholes is at 50 is going to be better than some of United players. Sidcraft, I would say, guys, and what do you think about this? You can get Roy Keane, Ryan Giggs, Paul Scholes, David Beckham right now in Man United's team at 50-odd. They'll be better than what we have right now. They would. Put Dwight York and Andy Cole up front. You know what I mean? And put the, Vidic and, Stam and Eric Irwin and, Gary Neville on the right back and Schmeichel in goal. They'll be better than what we have right now. Maguire had the balls to give up the armband and didn't complain about it, SLD. Didn't cry about it. Didn't go to Twitter. Didn't cry his eyes out. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Yeah, Dillick was brilliant. Dillick's been good all season, Errol. You know what? Dillick's come into an absolute mess at the end of the day as well. He's probably thinking to himself, all those players that have signed for Man United are probably thinking to themselves, for goodness sake, what have I got myself into here? What's going on at the end of the day? Sal, the only legend of the club I respect is Roy Keane. I respect all the legends of Man United. There are many. Bobby Charlton, Duncan Edwards, George Best. You know, I mean, if you're talking about recently, I still respect Paul Scholes as a player. I still respect Gary Neville as a player. I still respect Roy Keane as a player. I respect Andy Cole as a player. But as pundits, let's separate that. Let's separate the pundits from the legend, right? They're nothing to do with that. Do you know what I mean? They're nothing to do with who they were as a player. I would say that to you, Rasta. These ex-players have nothing to do with their playing days. The punditry is completely separate from that. And Gary Neville, obviously, is a bad pundit. And he's a very biased pundit as well. I will sell Bruno next season if I am the coach. Me too. He looks confused as a leader, and leaders needs to be positive. Yeah, Michael, what leaders do, what leaders are supposed to do is they're meant to get you out of the trenches. And then when the going gets tough, they're the ones who are meant to take you through, get you through it, of course, at the end of the day. Maguire was okay, but he's still, I mean, we need to move on from that. I think that Maguire will be here next season. He signed a year contract. Man United are losing Evans and losing Lindelof in the summer. So Man United need to replace those two defenders. If they do, guys, we might be left with Aiden Heaven. Who knows? But Man United do need another defender in there at least, definitely. We need a defender. We need another midfielder or two. We need a right wing back. We need another attacker, number 10. We need another striker. For goodness sake, what are we going to do? I mean, are we going to get those players? It's madness. Grayo, Maguire has proven to be a bloody good player for us. Leave him alone. And please hit the like and subscribe button. Bruno is a bloody liability. We have to absolutely 100% Grayo. You know what? A lot of people don't want to praise Maguire as well. And Maguire does deserve praise because not many people lose the captain's armband and show the amount of professionalism that he has shown, do they? You know, absolutely fair dues to him. Sadly, but true, Sal, regarding getting the legends to play for us, shows how far the apple has fallen from the tree, meaning the current players. And I agree. All they need to do, Jim, is that get those 11 that played in Man United's treble winning season, for example, train them up for a month, play against Man United right now. I guarantee you they will beat that Man United team. They will beat that Man United team. Absolutely. I guarantee you. Paulette, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Need to fill out a 25-man squad. Can't compete with 12 fit players. Spot on, Paul. At the end of the day, this was Ineos, wasn't it? This was Ineos' plan. Ineos needed to obviously back the manager. They haven't backed the manager, unfortunately. They left him out to dry, hanging there, of course. We're a club in crisis, a sinking ship. I think, you know, at the end of the day, bro, at the end of the day, what we can say is that, you know, we just can hope. You know, we're living on hope. We're living on a prayer, as Bon Jovi once said famously. To be honest with you, we hope that one day it happens and it connects. But at the end of the day, we all need to be on the same page. We all need to say that now. Ruben is the manager. Ruben's a great manager. Ruben has done it in the Champions League. Ruben's a good manager. They need to back him, and they need to back him to the bone. That's what they need to do. And anything Ruben wants, let's do it at the end of the day, guys. Let me just get this gun in my hair. I need a haircut, guys, definitely. Respect, big up Sal, always big up yourself, brother. Big up Jim as usual. Gary Neville, let's not forget he was a horrible manager at Valencia. He was, but a great player. Bruno is a waste in his prime years at United. When he leaves, he thrives elsewhere. He's in his 30s, mate. I don't think he's going to thrive anywhere, to be honest. I will praise a player when he's good, but when he's, I'll call it out. Yeah, as it should be, Randy. And that's opinion at the end of the day. In regards to winning titles and leagues, we're nowhere near where we need to be. That's one thing that is a fact, right? And we haven't been where we need to be for a very long time. And to be where we need to be ruthless, don't we? We need to be ruthless, and that we haven't been ruthless, of course. What number 10 can give assists now? Should Eriksen, Sam, Bruno start? These players they're too slow, man. Premier League, I just think it's done for them. It's done out here. Never play Bruno in the number 8 again. Don't do that. Play him in the number 10. It's not working. Use Garnacho as a super sub. Bring in a kid. At the end of the day, that's what I would do. I wouldn't play Eriksen. He's too slow for the Premier League. And every time we get Eriksen, we get overrun as well. So I would get a kid in there. I would definitely get a Kone in there. and start playing Kone in the midfield. I would, because I think that we need a little bit more pace, a little bit more energy in there, guys. Absolutely. That's what I think we need. And we're very slow at the moment. We're a slow football team. And, you know, the best teams are quick. The best teams in the world are quick. They're fast, of course. Yeah, we told a lot of don't play Bruno centre midfield and Eriksen centre midfield. None of them should be playing centre midfield. Absolutely. Absolutely. Sal, 100%. Always great show. Hence, growing popularity. Thank you so much, Grail. You're a legend, my friend. Thank you so much, brother. Yeah. You know, it's hard times. It's hard time. We've fallen on hard times, guys, at the end of the day. And that is the problem at the moment. Steve, Dalot is a fullback, not a winger. Is exactly what I've been saying for the last few months. Dalot is a fullback. Man United. This is why Man United are interested in Giovanni Quenda. This is why Man United are interested in a number of other Wesley as well from Brazil. Man United are interested in. This is why we're interested in these players, because Dalot is not a wing back. He's a fullback, and there's a big difference, isn't there? At the end of the day, you know. And this is why sometimes we drop into a 5, because Dalot is not pushing forward enough. He's not doing the overlapping runs. Yesterday, it was refreshing to see Dorgu going forward as a wing back, you know, because Dorgu could play midfield as well. You know, Dorgu going forward as a wing back. And you know what? Unfortunately, he wasn't getting picked out. But I did see an episode in the game where he got the cross in, and it was a very good cross as well. You know what I mean? Gary Neville talking about Amorim is annoying. Big up, Rich. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Yeah, it's pathetic, mate. It is pathetic. Big up yourself, by the way. Hope you're doing well. It's pathetic. And I'm tired of it, because you can see through it. You can see through it. You can see through the nonsense. You know, you can see through the conflict of interest that he is showing blatantly and disgustingly. You know what I mean? And every single manager that comes in, whether it's Erik ten Hag, whether it's Ruben Amorim, they're the problem. The tactics are the problem. Saying that he has 9-year-old tactics is one of the biggest disrespects you can possibly give a manager, guys. 9-year-old tactics. This was Ruben Amorim before, you know, he left Sporting Lisbon in the Champions League. Right? This was Ruben Amorim, top of the Portuguese league, you know, undefeated in the Portuguese league, undefeated in the Champions League. And you know what? That is 9-year-old tactics, isn't it, Gary Neville? Mad, isn't it, when you think about it? Absolute pathetic punditry at the end of the day. Disgusting, in my opinion. Absolutely. Gary Neville forgets he's different. I mean, I think he's just interested in Ineos. I think he's just interested in keeping sweet with Ineos, interested in keeping sweet the Glazers. There's a lot of money to be rolled into this football club, and he wants to be part of it with Hotel Football. He is a part of Hotel Football, of course, as well. Kendrick diss track needed on Glazer Ineos. Kendrick diss track. Kendrick can't do diss tracks. Hip hop has died, GK, and it starts with Kendrick Lamar. Gary clearly forgets how difficult he found management. Yeah, I've just read down. Big up. Dorgu made a great runs, but Garnacho. Yeah, I mean, I mentioned this earlier that Dorgu made all these runs, and Garnacho again doesn't look up. Garnacho again does not look up, guys. He needs to look up. He needs to look around. You know, look up again. There was a few episodes over the last few weeks where he doesn't look up, and that's his problem, I think. Big up, Sal. Big up, Rich, my friend. Hope you're doing well, brother. Ineos, they're not like us, trying to strike a chord and probably relegation. Big up SLD. Absolutely. So if we are first or the top 4, I can give a player for having one-off games, but every once in a while, as we are all human. But the fact that he makes me angry, so these disrespect the badge. Absolutely. Jim, you're spot on, brother. You're spot on, my friend. Absolutely. Absolutely. Big up, big up, big up. Of course, the OG diss track, you remember Tupac Biggie? Tupac was the OG. Hit 'em Up is the best diss track of all time, GK. That's why F job, you fat mother. That should be aimed at the Glazers. Maybe they could do a remix of Hit 'em Up. Maybe they can do that aimed at the Glazers. First off, you broke it in a tick the dan. Wet side in about the. You claim to be a owner, but you stingy as F. You know, I can't say too much swear words. It's one of the best diss records, by the way. Guys, it was an amazing best record, absolutely. Use a beat Ryler, a postal taker. You use a beat Ryler. Was it a dividend taker? Your beat Ryler, your beat. Yeah, there you go, guys. You got the point. Let's trust the kids. They are future. Amorim, drop the stars, and absolutely, my friend. Amorim is a fire on us next season. We played well in the second half. it's all about a mixture, isn't it, my friend? It's all about a mixture. We have to balance it out. We all United can lose to anybody. Just don't understand why 15 minutes to go, Amorim didn't ask the kids to go out there and have something. See what you can do. What I would say, Steve, and I've said it many times, my friend, is that, you know what? And I'll say it again to end this show, guys. I would say taking risks. Only winners take risks. Only winners take risks. What I would say is that in the Champions League final in 1998, 1999, Alex Ferguson made the bold move and bringing on Sheringham and Solskjaer. It won us the treble. If he didn't do that, then what? You have to take risks sometimes. We were not scoring in a million Sundays. He needed to make that change, and he needs to learn from that, of course. Dorgu is really good. I agree, Amir. Big up, absolutely. Dorgu looked like a player that he needs to do a few more on his wavelength would help. Absolutely. I think it will be in the summer. Definitely, Rich. I think we will get some. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed he gets the backing that he deserves in the summer, of course. Absolutely. Shout out to Grayo. How are you? Big up, Grayo. Big up, everyone. Tupac is a legend. I'm privileged to have worked with the Outlaws, which is the Tupac's Outlaws. Of course, people know me. I do music. I did music for 25 years. So I worked with the Outlaws in LA and stuff like that. That is how I got into music, guys, through the Outlaws. Definitely not a hairstyle that I would want. Definitely. Right, best today. Absolutely. Amir, trust the process. United we trust. Big up. Amorim we trust. Big up yourself. Even if Amorim gets to bring in 4 or 5 players in the summer, then half the first team next season, we are still struggling with a system. 2 or 3 windows needed to overhaul that team. Fair point, Chocoboca. Fair point. Absolutely, leeches the Glazers, made the system look absolute techers. Ineos want to be trendsetters, but look like, there you go. GK, you need to you need to come on here and rap me a song, my friend. I want you to perform it, GK, live on the stream. Absolutely. The Glazer diss track, it'll go viral. Onana out buying it in. Absolutely, my friend. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. A little bit early today. Thank you, everyone who's taken the time out to join me this evening on Chatterbox, guys. I'll be back tomorrow morning for Breaking Dawn. Have a great night. Have a great evening. And remember, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new. And please don't forget to smash a like on the video, guys. You're all legends. Love you to bits. And guys, listen, I'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully the news brightens up a little bit because it has been quite a bad year, isn't it, really? When we think about it, it has been quite an awful year, hasn't it, guys? It's been quite toxic, hasn't it, guys? Absolutely. Thank you anyway, guys. Absolute legends. Don't forget, there's a new membership video on my stream, on my channel. You can become a member easily, guys, and on the channel. And there is some membership video. New membership video has been uploaded today. So enjoy it. Guys, thank you so much and have a great evening. I'm Sal Warner. This is Chatterbox. Take it easy, please.